right, gang, want to give you a little bit of update on the P226, P229 custom setups, straight out of TRB Customs, if you will. But I did a video about a year ago on these two firearms. In fact, there's some additional modifications with these guns from what I did about a year ago. So we have the P229 and P226. Now, straight out of the box, great guns, but a little bit to be desired on things like, say, trigger press. And if you're running the California compliant, lack of ability to shoot with the magazine extracted, things like that. So what we've done with these firearms is really upgraded them. I personally like to call this my P229 because it's not quite a 320, but the only difference between this and an actual 320 is the fact that it's double action, single action hammer fire. Other than that, it is pretty much a P320 at this point. Okay, so on this one, a couple modifications. I'm just gonna go through it again. The frame and the grip is stock or standard. Worked off that. Redid the internal guts of it from beginning to end. Dropped in an Armory Craft flat adjustable trigger, so I can adjust the over travel and under travel on this. And I got it fine tuned to where on double action there is no slack. I'm immediately at the wall. And then as far as the resets are really short. I also used additional springs to reduce the trigger press on this, going from, doing a little press check, going from your traditional 8 to 10 pound trigger press down to what would be about a 5 pound trigger press on this one, 5 to 6 in double action mode. Okay, that reset over here is really short. Okay, because that steer and safety lever inside the firearm has been swapped out to a short reset. So the reset's right there, and on single action, it's probably about a 3.5 pound, 3 pound trigger press there. So rework the internal triggers, really clean, really smooth. Okay. Then I used the aftermarket SIG slide with the red dot cut on it, the optics cut, and mounted the Romeo 1 Pro on this one, and then also swapped out the SIG night sights for the night vision suppressor height sights here. They work nicely, being able to see over that optic and being able to use your iron sights as a backup to the red dot if you like. But I highly recommend that if you're going to do something with your P229, 226, using the SIG slide, that you mount the Romeo 1 Pro on there. It just talks really well to it. Okay, so that's what's going on here. And then since then, I've actually installed the Armory Craft skeletonized hammer because it actually reduces the weight of the hammer, so it increases the velocity with which the hammer is striking that firing pin, giving it a little bit more oomph when hitting that firing pin, thereby reducing the probability of, say, a light strike and things like that. Just more reliability on the strike of that hammer on the firing pin. So that's what we have on this. We have the TLR7 Alpha mounted on this one for a flush fit. Great for just everyday training or concealed carry. I mean, this one is an actual workhorse if you ask me. I've had a lot of miles on this. It just still keeps on kicking. Another thing here, and a lot of similar things with the 226 and the 229 here. Same thing with the trigger, same thing with the hammer, same thing with the red dot and sights. This one, I actually put the Pro Cut slide on this one, so it's ready to receive the red dot. But an additional kind of nicety is the skeletonized porting on the slide. One, reduces the weight of the slide, so from a functionality perspective, it's really a much lighter, so that way that spring can just throw that slide back forward a lot faster, but at the same time, it does look a lot cooler than your standard slide. So there's that. Okay. So this otherwise has the same things. Longer grip on this, so this is more of a home defense or just more tactical duty pistol. Mounted the Surefire X300 on this one. Now, as you know, or many of you know, that the X300 has different variants, the Alpha, the Bravo, and so on. on this one, I highly recommend if you're going to mount an X300 on the frame of your 226 or even 229. I recommend the Alpha variant because of the way it attaches to the frame. The Bravo variant has a spring-loaded basically bolts, okay, screws that talks to the frame. But the problem with that is that with these screws or bolts, they're made out of hard metals, and because you're using metal on metal, aluminum frame with that bolt, I typically find that there's a lot of vibration and shearing over time, and essentially the bolt will shear, and then the light will just pop right off the firearm. So there's that. Another consideration, speaking of lights, another consideration with that is the TLR7 Alpha. If you actually look closely, I'm not actually using the stock bolts with regards to the TLR7 Alpha. Again, I find that the bolt provided from Streamlight is very hard and doesn't talk well with this metal frame. Thereby, when shooting, and I've had numerous bolts shear right off during training or whatever because they're just too hard. The hardness on it make them very brittle to withstand those vibrations. So something that you could pick up over at Home Depot is you get a zinc based bolt. It's a Phillips head, flat head, that'll talk very well. It's 1 inch in length, and you can actually screw it right on. It's a softer metal, so it will withstand and handle those repeated vibrations of the firearm and not shear off. This is the first bolt I put on here and has never sheared off. And actually now I think it's going about 1.5 years since I've had this bolt on this light, working just fine. Okay, so a couple considerations, a little bit of review. These firearms are the firearms that I teach, train, or defend my home with on the daily, and the setups are great. A couple things that you want to go with it. I highly recommend looking into, if you're going to put basic big items on the firearms like slides, go with SIG on SIG. Another company that does well for aftermarket parts are Armory Craft. Check out their triggers, check out their hammers, and things like that. And then, of course, for backup iron sights, don't look any further than night vision. So, a couple things about the different firearms and a check-in on the weekend.
Like and subscribe to all our videos. We do a lot of videos. We release them every Tuesday. There's informative videos, gun videos, training videos, tactics videos, anything you name it. There's even videos out there where me and Ernie just talking about our feelings, right? Especially the Christmas videos. So, exactly. So like and subscribe in the TRB YouTube page, and go support local people, right?